A woman dies after being hit by a pickup truck. Another woman flips her car in the PetSmart parking lot. And some big football games to look forward to this weekend.
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Amy Bennett. On Wednesday night, a woman died after being hit by a pickup truck on Bluff Street. Here's Cody Blowers and St. George Police with more on the story.
A pedestrian was struck and killed in a crash near the intersection of Bluff Street and West 500 North in St. George Wednesday evening. And here is St. George Police Sergeant Tyrell Bangerter with more from the scene.
So this evening at about 7:34, we were called to the intersection of 500 North Bluff on an auto pedestrian crash involving a single vehicle and an adult female pedestrian. The driver of the vehicle remained on scene and is cooperating with the investigators. The female pedestrian passed away from her injuries. We do have several witnesses on scene that are cooperating and helping us out to understand exactly what happened. Accident reconstruction on scene. The roadway is going to be closed down for a few hours while we complete our investigation. We're asking that any witnesses that may have driven by and seen what happened prior to the collision or at the collision, if they would please reach out to dispatch so that we can get their statement as well.
The identity of the woman has yet to be released, and no further details were available at the time of this report.
Due to insufficient funds, the highway interchange that was proposed for 700 South is now on hold. However, there are still other plans to improve to widen Interstate 15. Here's Maury Kessler with the story.
A new I-15 interchange that is proposed to be built at 700 South in St. George has been postponed due to financial constraints, according to a recent report. Last week, the Utah Department of Transportation released the results of its environmental assessment and an impact report regarding the proposed 700 South interchange. While the report found the interchange would not have any major negative impacts on the area, it also notes the project's current lack of sufficient funding. However, what has been funded is the widening of I-15 between the Bluff Street and St. George Boulevard interchanges, which will add a third lane to both sides of the highway.
Thanks, Maury. An elderly woman flipped her car over in the PetSmart parking lot after reportedly stepping on the wrong pedal. The driver accidentally hit the gas pedal instead of the brake, causing the car to run over to landscaping sections and flip onto its top. The driver and her husband sustained minor injuries and were examined at the scene and then released. And now to Sheldon and Amy to give us a breakdown of what's happening in St. George this weekend.
You know, Amy and I don't want Halloween to end, but it does, and we got some great things happening this weekend.
Yes, head up to Springdale because the Bumbleberry Theater is where it's at.
Live comedy. It's going to be Rodney Norman, and he's going to put on a heck of a show. Also a great event happening at Sand Hollow Resort.
It's the Cruise and Car Show. Bring your cars because you could win some money.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a fun event, and it's Sand Hollow Resort. They're so great over there. And another special event, we have Battle of the Badges Chili Cook-Off.
And it's happening at Veterans Park, so don't miss it.
Yeah, and that's what's going on, plus a full list of other things going on. Just check out our TGIF article on stgeorgenews.com.
Thanks, guys. The Color Country Railroad Club members are opening their homes to the public to see their railroad miniatures. Here's Jesse Bang with more on these realistic mini railroad models.
The Color Country Model Railroad Club's annual layout tour is set to take place from November 10th through the 13th and will feature 21 railroads across Washington County. M. Dave Merrill built an upstairs bedroom in his home specifically as a train room, which houses his railroad named Escape Tension and Sulphur Gulch.
It's a fun hobby because it has all kinds of different things. I mean, you base it from carpentry to model building to art.
He handmade trees, buildings, large mountains, and even used his own landscape photos as the railroad's backdrop. Bob Mallory's Lionel O-Scale Railroad is built on wheels and located inside his home garage. One side of the railroad depicts a winter wonderland complete with ice skaters and a flying Santa Claus.
Thanks, Jesse. And now I'll send it over to Cannon to tell us what's going on this weekend in sports.
Thanks, Amy. There's going to be one Region 9 team standing in the state tournament after Friday night, and it should be a great game. Crimson Cliffs plays Desert Hills at home, and the Thunder are coming off a big win against Snow Canyon last week. The Thunder put up 49 against the Warriors and were led by junior running back Titan Mason, who was involved in 6 of the 7 touchdowns for the Thunder. On the other hand, Crimson Cliffs dominated Cedar last week, shutting them out 56-0. The Mustangs have been a dangerous team all year. After all, they did go undefeated in Region, which is a tough thing to do with the talent in Region 9. These two teams faced off back in Week 5 against each other, and the Mustangs beat the Thunder 49-7. Both of these teams have made enormous strides since Week 5 and are two completely different teams since their last matchup. The game will be played at Crimson Cliffs High School at 6 o'clock, but if you can't make it in person, you can always stream it on the Fan Sports Network. We've also got some college football this Saturday. We got BYU at West Virginia. You got Utah at Oregon State. SUU plays Lincoln at home. Utah Tech gets Abilene Christian at home. Weber at Idaho State, and then you got Utah State at San Diego State. It's going to be a good week for Utah sports. Now back to you, Amy.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Amy Bennett with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5.